Broadcast live.
You like have the hip hop stories. I mean, you got guys like Aaliyah, Big Pun, some of the people that you shot, and I'm sure like the pictures are used all the time for like memorial purposes. You know, being involved and always being plugged as the guy to be reached out to. I'm sure a lot of people reach out for you.
Sure.
What do these pictures just basically like for you mean? That like, okay, you know what? They can say you made history, but you know when you're alive and you can actually see that someone that's made history that's not around anymore, and they've been honored through pictures that you've used. I mean, that's a different whole headspace. You know what I mean? What are your stories though with some of these pictures with Aaliyah, Big Pun? You had great stories with Aaliyah, Big Pun, ODB. I love the ODB stories. You know, But what were the stories behind that? You know. I mean, I think Aaliyah specifically and ODB and the pictures right there, because I love that story. You know, a lot of people probably don't even know about that. You know?
Sure. I mean, like every single one of these has a story. Yeah. You know, like I didn't tell the story about 50 Cent. I'm glad that you actually know that, because people gravitate to the heavy stories that they want me to hear, like they want to hear in real time. You know, like Aaliyah, she was an angel. You know, we had to shoot 10 shots. And it was a joyful moment of creation, you know, with her. She was very connected. Her team was really beautiful. There was every time I shot, I would sign a Polaroid, you know. I would have the artist sign the Polaroids to string together the day, like shot 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever. It would unfold. Maybe there's 5, maybe 10, 2, 1. And in this case, there was like 5. And we had talked about shooting in the Caribbean. And I was like, I want to take you to Jamaica. Like, I'm a huge fan of Caribbean culture, like Jamaica, Trinidad, you know, Barbados, St. Lucia, you know, all of that.
Yeah. I got you at the sound effect.
Drop that.
Yeah.
So I chased her down. She had left the studio early, and I ran her down. I was like, hey, look, it's a tradition. Would you please sign this Polaroid? And she's like, yeah, of course. And so remembering the story, she just wrote, you know, like, thank you for an amazing shoot. Like, you were wonderful. I will see you in the Caribbean. Yeah. And the fact that she passes, you know what I mean, sort of in the Caribbean, Bahamas, whatever, you know what I mean, in that sort of, like, I've always kind of remembered that kind of moment. And really this moment kind of represents, you never know when a moment is going to be the moment and a special moment with someone. It's a reminder to always give your all to everything, you know? I think this is that exact moment. And another reason that this is important for me is that if somebody like this, who is like right at that verge, who's so sweet, probably never did anybody wrong in her life, was just generous with her time, embraced her fans, really cared, really gave of herself. If she can go, we can all go. So it's just that reminder of like mortality, and of like today is the day to actually do what you love, you know, and that's the motivation when I kind of look at this. It is the only picture of my own that I shot that I have up in my house.
Oh, really?
Everything else is influence from other people. I have pictures of, you know, Bob Marley from incredible photographers, Peter Beard, shots that he did in Africa, you know, just like Cartier-Bresson stuff, like amazing stuff. This is the only one, and I really do feel like she's an angel to a lot of people. Her fans love her, but to me that there was a different connection. It wasn't anything sexual or anything like that, despite the fact that she's gorgeous. I feel like there's a presence because I really, really fought to have a moment with her. I really wanted it. So she's looking after me, man. She's one of my guardian angels that keeps me safe, man. I believe that, and I'm claiming it, and I stand firm, man. Yeah.
I love the ODB story where all the photographers.
ODB is my spirit animal. She's my guardian angel, but he's my spirit animal.
I love the fact that he literally stood up every photographer, and then they gave you the job, and
they gave me the time.
And like he was like, he wants $20,000 for the shoot, and you're like,
it's unbelievable, man.
Yeah, you know. But he looks like he's basically was zoned out though in his own world all the time. You know, the outfit. What was the theme for the shoot?
He wanted to dress up as Rick James. Like, this was the creative direction. I went into the office, and the art director named Ali Trush was like, well, you got a tricky one on your hands. He didn't show up for 2 other photographers, and they just couldn't be bothered anymore to wait for him. But we feel like it's you. We feel like you can bring this to life because you brought everything to life. The most tricky, strange, shot at in Compton situations. Like, you know, these are all, you know, the moments that I deliver on. even if I get 5 minutes, I'm going to give you the shot. So I went into the office, and they said he wants to dress up as Rick James. He's demanded a bed be on set. He wants to dress up as Donna Summer. And then from there, we'll freestyle it. Those are his 3 demands. I was like, okay, we will have all of those things.
And he arrived 7 hours
7
late.
hours late. He asked to get paid $20,000 to show up to his own shoot. Art director was like, no, it's not happening, dude. Just show up. This is for you. This is a contractual obligation that you have for your own career. Like, show up. We're all here. We've been waiting ODB for like 6 hours. You know, meanwhile, I was dressing up as ODB, giving cameras to my whole crew. It was amazing, just to keep the energy up. We were drinking Corona. We never thought he would show up. So it was a Saturday afternoon. We literally all took a nap, like 7 of us on the bed, just laying like puppies in a little litter in a box. It's amazing.
I mean,
but when he finally showed up, he called back 15 minutes later and said, look, make it 15. We're like, no, we're going to draw a stick figure of you, and it's fine, and that's all we got, and we'll deliver. He finally showed up and tried to really just control the situation. So many crazy stories. Like, I'll let you research them, but this is the moment that became the cover, dressed up as Rick James, and this is sort of the richest moment when he was there, present for a moment, and we worked out our energies to sync up for like a real split second in time to then be able to release and give this thing to the world.
It's like getting that moment. Like you said.
That's it. You hit that sweet spot, man, when stars align.
Look, I mean, like I say, we so far from everything. DMX, when I see I know you've been saying these stories forever, you know?
Stretch it out, man. I'm old. Just because I'm old, man. I gotta get ready for this story, man.
I ain't even gonna make it hard for you. But you know, DMX, when you see him, right, he's I mean, today when you see him, when you see the interviews, you know, he says some crazy stuff, and then he says some inspirational stuff. He's like, he's just the character, right? I mean, I asked myself, like, and I heard that he's like, during his prime, he never missed any show, or whatever the case be, right? Just getting him to just be a part and cooperate. I mean, obviously there's a certain level of patience, but how was it working with him? Because when you see him now, he's like pretty wild. I mean, he doesn't seem like a person that listens to anybody. You know what I mean? He
listens to me. That's dope. I love that I could just say that and actually believe it and mean it, and he really does. Like,
but
your assessment is, yeah. I think there was a period that he was kind of doing what he wanted, but I think, you know, this is a guy that you could never understand his life. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there are people that have had similar journeys, but you know, this is a man that I think at some levels is haunted. You know what I mean? There's a lot that he's processing in his life based on so many different factors. The fact that he's risen to the level of stardom, and the fact that he's realized his own power and creative energy to be able to give it to the world so that other people that are in similar situations can, like, latch onto it. Like, oh, that's me too. Like, yeah, the dog was my only friend. I never felt people were loyal to me. I always wanted this. I always wanted something. Like, these are very human traits, man, that take people through. Like, he's such a compelling character. But I think early on, and you mentioned trust over there, there's a trust that he and I just established straight away. Shooting the picture with him with the dogs, he knew what I was built for. Like, he knew that I would get down on the ground and lie on my back to get that angle, scoot around on the ground, and not care. Like, I don't care about my gear. Like, I'm here to get the shot, you know, and illustrate it right now that, like, whatever illustrates it most richly, I'm here to tell those rich stories, you know. This is a moment that, because of Dark and Hell is Hot, that I got this opportunity, that he believed in what I wanted to do, and that we were able to deliver something that really speaks to what you said. Like, this white, this calm, this space, this negative space was about color theory. It was about his prayerful side. And then the red about this intensity that he pushed forward, you know. We took a chance, you know. I wanted it to be that people couldn't look away from the image, you know. But I also wanted to, like, why isn't this is a guy who's very religious? Why isn't this covered and protected with the blood of Christ? That he's impenetrable. You know what I mean? Like, why is it that? Why is it the violence of America and the white photographer that puts the black man in the... Yo, it has nothing to do with that, man. And you have to understand he and I and our connection to understand that. And only through storytelling can we tell these stories and give meaning and purpose and tell the real narrative to what happened. But in the meantime, it's still a compelling image that stands alone, that I allow you to interpret as the audience, and I think that's what gave people a really rich exchange with the project, and that it represented all that he was speaking about. So.
All right, cool. So to wrap up, you know, more. I think the stuff is serious, by the way. The stuff is real. You have in your memory, you got an archive of hip hop which is realer than anything else. You know what I mean? In a place where the home of hip hop obviously is in America, but your story.
Oh, it's international, man. You can't even say that.
I'm just saying the heart of it, though. The heart of it.
A humble beginning.
It's born there, and you literally have these stories that like. You one in a few, you know what I mean? They literally need to clone your memory whenever you pass away, because these are stories, and you've been welcomed by the artists and the community to tell these stories. With regards to licensing, and I mean, I know there's a lot of photographers. I know that there's a law that you started with licensing photography. You influenced like a law with Coors, with regard after Coors used an image of yours. Could you just talk about that? And just for other kids that are out there taking photos, I mean, how important is it, like licensing? And another thing I want to talk about is just like monetizing your archive pictures. How important is like archiving pictures, you know what I mean?
Sure. I stand here as a photographer that has been formally trained by photographers before me that have really paved the way, that have stood their ground. You know, I'm a pure shooter when it comes down to it. I love the process. Sticking paper in water with the image that like rises up is magic to me, like literally magic. I was like, do it again. That's dope. I don't know how this happens, but it just happened, so do it again, you know? Like, it was that was the one moment that I was like, I found it. This is what I want to do. And that was in college and university. I took photography only 1 year. Growing under these, you know, sort of major shooters, you realize how passionate they are about what they're doing. These are people that documented the civil rights movement, that revolutionized fashion photography, that shot Peter Tosh to the Rolling Stones on tour. Like, yo, these are compelling, huge moments that mean a lot, and there is a moment that you do need to protect yourself, you know? It's that boxing say, protect yourself at all times, because it's an industry where people really like this stuff, and they want it, and they feel like because they like it, they can just do whatever they want, you know? We work too hard as photographers to bring this for everybody else to sort of eat and benefit. It's fine to share it, you know, but that needs to be shared in a controlled and beautiful way, and in a rich way like this, where I can tell the stories, you know, that mean so much to everybody. There was a situation that I shot Kevin Garnett. I was driving in LA, and my assistant was like, isn't that your picture up there on that billboard? I was like, wow, that's weird. Like, no, let's back up down the street, pull the Navigator over. Right when they were released, we were fly. We were driving everything. Anyway, yeah, and looked up and really was like, oh my God, that's it. Let me shoot a picture. Had to take it to the lab, develop it, rush, turn it around, had FedEx the contact sheets and matched them up. What they did, they copied my picture, they flipped it, they reversed it, and then turned it black and white, and then put their like hashtag and their logo on at the time called Iced Out. It's like, you can't steal my work. Like, this is Coors. This is crazy. You know what I mean? And it's not them as a brand. Maybe it was the art director. Maybe it's a combo. They just want what they want, and they take their chances because there's a heavy legal team. But I was like, you're not stealing from me, man. You're not going to steal from me. And through, like, discovery, there was 250 billboards around the country. I took them to court for 3 days. We had to copyright the thing. I had to really stand my ground, speak my process, have other photographers get behind and say, look, the reason why photographers get called back and are working in this compelling way is because there's a unique voice. Like, we are individuals. There's nobody that's going to paint like Van Gogh. Nobody's going to paint like Picasso. You know what I mean? Like, these are individual, unique voices that need to be celebrated, and you can't steal from us without compensating us and taking care of us. The reason why I knew about the whole campaign is they bid me for the job, and I was like $2,000 more expensive than the guy that they got to take my picture, stick it to the tripod, copy it identically, angle, jewelry, whatever. And I'm like, nah. And we won on all counts. We had to win on like 11 counts. We won on all of them. You know, the woman who had the ad agency was in tears. She's like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Like, I now get it. You know, I was like, it's okay. Like, all is forgiven. but I changed copyright law. You go to the Harvard Law Review right now, it's Mannion v. Coors, and I've given the ability for all photographers going forward to have, you know, sort of a precedent set that you can't steal from us. Like, and we're not going to stand for it. And it's like a David and Goliath story. Like, I'm the little guy. I had everything to lose going up against a major corporation with endless money and endless legal services. People believed in me and what I stood for so much that they got behind it, and we're going to go. That was the biggest victory, and it wasn't about a monetary gain because there was very little that came my way. But I changed it, and I gave people, all photographers who are as passionate as I am about what I do, the ability to have something to protect them going forward.
I'm going to wrap it up for real, because, you know, I'm getting the looks, you know.
I love the looks. The looks are good, man. Don't be scared of the looks, man. As long as you got this look, and these cameras are going,
let's
good.
go, you know. But, you know, this is key, though, for South African kids across the board, and I think it's for kids across the world, right? I mean, we were from a generation where we were reading magazines, where you could get a CD cover and you could literally, and as a photographer, you could say, this is what I'm doing, I got work, this is my job. There's more kids now that want to learn to take pictures, and their parents are saying, you can't do this because there's no work. From your perspective, I mean, where is the work as a photographer? Because magazines aren't what they are, CD sleeves, and you know, it's one thing to work taking pictures for a job you don't like taking pictures of buildings. But if you want to work in the culture, where's the money opportunity? I'm just saying, someone else like, I don't want to be taking pictures of buildings.
Yeah, I don't want to shoot like a mayonnaise jar.
Yo, you might find a kid that's into hip hop, he doesn't rap, but he, just like you're into hip hop, you don't rap, but you're taking the pictures. There's a lot of kids like that. Where's the money and where's the opportunity? And you know what I mean?
I'm trying to find it, man. You know,
where have you found it?
Where have I found it? I think now, obviously the music industry has changed significantly, you know. I find the image, and I proved it with DJ Khaled and The Lion and the Flowers, right? I proved it that the image is still paramount. The image is what allows you to attach to a person and now a movement, even though it's, you know, not being seen on a CD sleeve, on a 33 1/3 record, on a cassette single, like as you go back deep into the archives, you know, on and on, you know. There was a moment that people didn't really appreciate the work that was happening because it was like, yeah, we're only going to see it this big on our phone. No. We're going to see it this big on the wall because I say we're going to see this big on the wall. You know, so this is my album package now that I'm delivering as Jonathan Mannion out to the world. You know, and that's how I've always looked at this. I've always seen it 5, 10, 15, 20, 50 years down the road. This is how it feels. This is what it felt like, you know, to be in a perfect example, like on stage with Biggie in '95, my oldest picture on this wall. You know, I want you to know what it feels like, and then supplemented by the story in real time that I can give things that I even probably forgot about. Like, oh man, you brought that up, like the 50 Cent story. Like, I haven't told that at all. Like, dope. And it's a testament to you and your ability to pull these stories and do a little research and say, hey, this is going to be compelling for my audience. Like, but that's my purpose, man. You know, I always saw it as bigger than the CD package. Like, I certainly pressed for what I wanted, but I was like, oh, I hate that cover, man. You had this image, this image, this image. I knew that I could always show it in a book of mine. I always knew that I could show it in an exhibition. And, you know, the ability to celebrate, you know, in perfect synergy with, you know, Hennessy and now South Africa and people that really care about this. And I see that people care. You know, it's like, this is everybody's timeline, you know, and as it is mine in a different and rich, compelling, connected way. But, like, it means a lot to a lot of people, man. And for me to be here to share humbly, genuinely, with an open heart is, like, a pure gift.
Thank you, John.
Man,
Appreciate it a lot. Great work.
Very welcome.
Nice meeting you.
Pleasure, man.
You know what I mean?
Round two.
Round two.
We crushed it.
You know what I mean?
I think we did well.
I think we did.
Can we take a selfie?
Yes, indeed.
Okay,
yes,
cool.
Indeed, you know?
We're posting this one. Who's going to do the honors?
Broadcast live